impactful movie. Now, to deepen our understanding of the film and its themes, we will proceed to our talk back session. To lead us in our talkback session, we are honored to have Dr. Michael Charleston Xiao B. Chua with us today. Michael Charleston Xiao B. Chua, PhD, the most active historian of Philippine television, is an associate professor of history at De La Salle University, Manila. He worked on Imelda Marcos in his BA and MA thesis and is the author of the widely disseminated paper, Torture: Human Rights Violations During the Marcos Regime. He is the creator of the Showtime television segment, watched by students and teachers across the country in their online classes. He also writes a Tuesday column for the Manila Times. In 2022, Esquire magazine named him one of the 100 most powerful Filipinos. He is a member of Aquila and a board member of Activista. It is also our pleasure to welcome the film's key team members who will help us dive even deeper into Ghosts of Kalanchaw. Joining us are Chuck Escasa, the director of Ghosts of Kalanchaw, who brought this important story to life. Henry Posadas, the cinematographer who captured the film's striking visuals. And we also have from the film team, Levi Uy and Ailey Escasa. Feel free to ask them any questions you have about the film, its production, or their experiences. We're excited to hear your thoughts and engage in a meaningful discussion.
Fantastic. Masaysayan naman po sa ating lahat. Mga Lasalliano, come on. Thank you. Come on daw. Sarap. Medyo mabigat, Medyo mabigat yung ating film. Mabigat in the sense na hindi naman siya mabigat na parang malungkot or what, Pero may mga realizations. But first of all, I just have to say this, we have a martial law commemoration at 4:30. That's why I have to end this session by 4:15. So I'm just going to ask one question, and maybe they can answer, and then ipapasa ko po sa inyo. Ang gusto ko lang malaman kay Director Chuck Escasa, bakit paano nagsimula yung idea ng pelikula nito?
Actually, the story of Jose Marco, pinimento lang sa amin ito nung pamangkin ni Amy, my wife. Many years ago before, pero yung time na pinili ko kaya, so makalatang sa mga fake news na attack sa history. So, pinimento niya kasi, although, kasi ako ay nabutan ko pa sa school itong si
Kalanchaw.
Talagang minimemorize namin yung 18 codes of Kalanchaw. So, that's how old I am. Pero, after that, nakalimutan ko na kung pinlingat sa akin ng pamangkin yung story ni Jose Marco na tamang-tama, very relevant yung time na yun. So, I thought it would make a good documentary. So, I applied for a grant sa 2021, naglabas ang Singapore ng call for submissions for full-length documentaries for Asian filmmakers, I submitted my concept, my proposal. And sa awa ng Diyos, natanggap naman siya. Dalawa naman sa out of hundreds of countries. They gave me the production grant to produce the film.
Wow! So, parang sa tanong na sana pero gusto kong masadahan ng konti. When you already did the film, siguro any one of you, ano yung parang major takeaway niyo na parang, ang ganda kasi parang na-connecta nyo sa present Diba? Doon sa nangyayari. Parang ang dating na, Jose Marcos still lives. And in fact, sabi ko, iniisip ko nga ang isang reflection ko nga doon, sir. Nung ako yung nanonood, parang, there was never time naging Jose Marco ako. Ako mismo as a storyteller. Di ba? Kasi minsan there was a time na parang, di ba minsan cloud chaser na di ba? Parang, di ba minsan may ganun kang, so parang how to be not a Jose Marco. Di ba? Parang ganun yung naisip ko. At minsan self-reflection talaga, oh my God, there was a time perhaps that I did become Jose Marco. And for me as a historian, parang, it's a shock. Di ba? Parang hindi, of course, yun na lang siguro. Papapa-reflect ka talaga eh. Siguro si Roger, kilala ko noong matagal na panahon na. Anyway pala, si Roger Posadas, Mr. Posadas. Si Roger Posadas yung naalala ko taga-UP. Sige, Henry.
Hindi, siguro yung sa age namin. Kasi we lived through this. So, tapos even now, you know this, parang human nature is yung myth-making. It's not just our country, it's other countries. If you look at religions also, how they start. So, common yun. Ang problem lang is the discipline. Nakikita kong problem sa Philippines and sa mundo ngayon kasi internet. Is yung discipline ng historian, parang hindi natin pinapakinggan.
Correct.
Ang common usapan pag nag-uusap lalo na, for example, I'm into martial arts. Kapag nag-uusap kami ng halimbawa history ng particular martial art, parating myth, naniniwala sila sa myth. Like mga, ewan ko, mga nag-FME dito. Naniniwala pa sila din sa Kali, mother of all martial arts. So that's, lumabas lang yan ng peace.
Yung nagbabalsan.
So common yun sa ating mga Pilipino. Tapos conscious na ako dito dahil nung bata pa lang ako. Ewan ko, ilan sa inyo naniniwala pa na yung floor set like Filipino nag-belto. Florante daw. Yung ano pa ba, Armalite.
Kasi ang mandolite, may Armalite.
So ang dami yan. Ang nakakataka is it takes just 10 minutes to actually go to Google and research the history of the fluorescent light. Pero whenever we speak to each other in person, it's always hindi, inano na naman ka mo yan, di ba? Which is also common now sa US, yung mga conspiracy theory. So yung maganda kasi dito, we're showing you something that happened in the past. Yung nakita niyo yung jump to reflect on what's also happening now. Kasi everything is a question of narratives. Even for example, let's say hindi ka maka-Marcos, pero let's say maka-Cor ka or something. You always have to ask yourself, all of these people are politicians. So you always have to question, okay, this is a narrative, but that's just a story. Ano yung evidence? So, I guess yun na.
Critical thinking, definitely gusto natin ituro sa mga bata dito sa Lasal. Yes, I want to add something.
Okay. Before we continue, nababanggit ko lang na when I was writing the proposal for this, you may not remember this, pero kayo una kong kinontak sa messenger if I could interview for this documentary. But you said mas makakasagot sa iyo si Albert Ocampo. So you pointed me to Mr. Ocampo. So for that, I'm grateful.
Siya talaga yung may study na yun. In fact, ito yung book na hindi pa niya nire-release. Marami pa kasi siyang gustong ilagay. Pero yung plano talaga niya ito na i-release. Ito yung magiging book niya talaga. And Professor Ahmed is parang making us reflect na we just don't dismiss Jose Marco even if he was a hoax or a con artist, di ba? Because we will learn something from him. Naalala ko yung tinuturo namin sa mga estudyante sa historiography na even fake news is actually a window to the people who spread it. Because we are the stories that we tell. Diba? Kung ano yung kinakwento natin, it affects our behavior, it affects our action. Before I give to the floor, no? Yung ating mga kasama dito, sino ma'am, no? baka meron kayong gusto ikwento tungkol sa karanasan po ninyo doon sa shooting. Halimbawa, sa aklan, nag-aklan po kayo, napakaganda. Nag-aklan. Napakita nyo rin yung, in fact, kahit na binibiran nyo yung narrative nila, parang gusto ko kayong pumunta doon sa lugar na yun dahil napakaganda. No? So parang you also, ang ganda nga yung sinabi na parang binuhay ulit si Kalanchaw, parang pinipeste na naman sila ng narrative na yun ngayon, no? At people will be interested in mga bata. Sige po.
Hello, good afternoon. Thank you po for staying until the end of the film, and thank you for having us, Activista at DLSU. I'm so excited. Thank you. Actually, going back to your question po about the people from Batan. Actually, this film, we haven't showed it to them actually. Kasi ayaw nilang panoorin.
Okay.
Parang natatakot po silang panoorin. Which is kind of ironic. Parang in real life, parang the truth hurts now. Parang the truth.
Understandable.
Yeah.
Understandable. Diba?
So,
Minsan may mga bagay ka na gusto mong huwag na lang pala.
yes po. And actually this film isn't just about Batan. Batan here is our own society. Diba? We are all believers of fake news. Sometimes we tend to believe, sometimes we don't. Pero watching people from Batan is like looking at a fishbowl. It's our society also. We tend to be this kind of people, like what Sir Shah said. And we learn from them also. We learn a lot from them.
Ma'am? Meron ka bang parang memorable experience or something na take away mo from your trips in Aklan and making this film also?
Actually, sir, yung sa akin po kasi I was there for the, yung shoots ko sa house, yung sa, yung dramatization.
Si Joel Saracho,
Oo.
na napakagaling na actor.
Yes po. So, bale actually, when they introduced it to me, yung PM po namin, yung production manager, si Ate Ella, bale, she introduced me to Direct Chuck and then Direct Pinky. With regards po sa, ito yung documentary. And before po actually, like, hindi ko po actually kilala si Jose Marco kasi ano po, like, malayo po yung course ko. And then yung mga past work experiences ko din. So, kumbaga, hindi ako maalam about sa kanya. And then, when Nang Ella, or Ate Ella, introduced me to the film, for the making of the film, dun ko po actually na-unveil yung, like, parang, ang dami talagang, like, mga haka-haka na dapat hindi naman sa i-ignore, pero dapat, yun nga, going back sa sinabi niya po, critical thinking talaga. So yun po, especially nito na, like, yung sa batch ko po kasi, pioneer po yun ng K-12. And then, that time po, yung Order 20 sa DepEd, na kukunin po is separate yung history. I-remove siya sa elementary, and then, correct me if I'm wrong na po Pero yun, andun pa rin sa grade 9 to 10, pero kumbaga, it's not as in-depth na kumbaga yung pag-ano sa amin. Kasi aralin panagpunan na lang parang naging part na lang siya ng social studies sa subjects sa grades 9 to 10. So, kumbaga, yung takeaway ko naman po dito is like, ako bilang ate din sa mga kapatid ko, it's like, I should encourage them to have healthy discussions na sa mga ganitong topics din po.
Maganda yung point of view, yung sinasabi mo na healthy discussions. Kasi when we radicalize, di ba, pag pinaniwalaan mo lang yung gusto mo, dahil yun yung belief mo, dahil dapat kapag ito yung kandidato mo, siya na yung pinakamagaling, lahat ng ginagawa niya tama, that is really the breakdown of our society. Kasi hindi na tayo mag-uusap-usap. Sige, let's open the floor for questions. I know you have questions to the panel. Baka meron po. Let's take this opportunity. Ano yung mga takeaway nyo, baka gusto nyo. Very short para marami tayong ma-entertain. We still have about 40 minutes to entertain your questions. Kaya po, sige po. Yung microphone and please introduce yourself. Thank you.
Good afternoon. So, first of all, yung one of my key takeaways ko talaga is the mind wants to know, the mind focuses on what is needed to know and wants to know. So, I want to clarify na po if, paano ba ito? How can we ensure that history is preserved accurately while considering pa yung allowing room for interpretation and understanding po. Thank you.
Parang ako yata dapat yung sumagot yan, no? Ganito, lang, very, very short, no? Sa totoo lang, historians are also relying on what they find. Diba? And yung accuracy of a fact means na kailangan gawin mo yung necessary methodology. So, titignan mo, primary source ba siya, nandun ba siya, is a secondary source, what is external criticism and internal criticism, which means na titignan mo kung una, genuine ba yung mga tinitignan mong documents, at pangalawa, kung genuine yung tinitignan mong documents, yung mga naman ba nila, totoo, nagsisinungaling ba sila or what. And you can do that by comparing yung tinatawag na triangulation of sources. Titignan mo, ano yung totoo. So, when a historian is able to show that he has that kind of method or talent or skill, that is when nagbibuild siya ng credibility. Kapag kunwari, nagbibigay siya ng mga statement, tapos nababanggit na kung saan niya nakukuha, nagkakaroon siya ng believability. So, the history in the historian. And ang maganda nga dito sa film na to, you highlighted the importance of the history and the historian and what the historian does. Diba? So yun siguro, doon natin napapanatili yung accuracy of the fact. Doon pa lang yung fact. But yung fact, kahit iisa lang yan, it can mean different things to different people. So for example, I will give you a fact. 11,103 verified human rights violations during martial law. For someone like us who believe in democracy and human rights, this is a travesty of democracy. Now, you're looking at the same facts, and some people will say, totoo yan. Ginawa yan ng panahon ni Marcos. Dahil ng panahon ni Marcos, sila ang mga 11,103 na yan ay salot sa bayan at dapat silang parusahan. Same facts, different ways of thinking. And the interpretation is not based on the fact itself, but it's based on what you hold sacred and what you hold dear, based on the stories that you believe when you were young or when you were growing up. Diba? So yun yung sinasabi natin. That's why we have to be clear when we are stating this is a fact and this is an interpretation. And if you're an audience, you must have the discernment that what one is saying is a fact and also interpretation. It goes both ways for the reader and the writer. Salamat po. Napakagandang tanong. It's a beautiful question.
Thank you.
Mabuhay. Next. For the filmmakers.
Good afternoon. How did you find the people that you asked to participate in the film?
How did you find them?
Well, actually, una namin in-interview was Beto Campo. So, madali naman siya hanapin. Nasa Makati lang siya. Courtesy of Mr. Xiao Chu. Tapos yung after that, we wanted to shoot the people from Aklan, no? Sila talaga yung mga believers doon. Kinontak talaga namin sila. So, we had our production managers in Iloilo. So yung base namin sa Iloilo, different Iloilo, we went to Bata, by land. Actually, accommodating naman, even though, alam naman nilang yung pakay namin sa pagpunta ron, in-accommodating na kami.
Kumbaga hindi nyo tinago sa kanila, you're not pretending na, we will promote the Kalansaw.
Actually, we gave them advanced questions. So alam nilang titirahin sila or not necessarily titirahin, pero alam nilang question namin yung belief nila. Pero game sila game sila. Actually, in the end na, inadilin sa kanila na, yes, maybe it's not Kalanchaw was legendary lang. Hindi siya. Pero, he's still part of our culture. Yun yung kanilang kanina.
Which is a valid one. Remember that Switzerland actually has a national hero that is not historical. Or was not historically proven. And that is William Tell. And William Tell is our archer. Diba? He may be legend. The archer, I mean, who is the archer? But you don't claim na history siya. He is part of our lives. Tama yung sinabi ko. Kaya nga, oo ako ng oo dun sa babae kanina nung sinabi niya. Huwag niyo natanggalin na part siya ng buhay namin. Yes, Maki. Totoo yun. Part siya ng buhay niyo. At in fact, doon nga natin makikita na yung mga po, there are stories that we tell that we cannot prove. Diba? Well, the whole basis of religion is religion because you cannot prove it. We will do it by faith. Although ipag-usapan naman yun because faith naman na yun. Diba? But anyway, sige. Thank you so much. That's a beautiful question. Yes, po.
Good afternoon, po.
Yeah.
The film covers themes about historical revisionism and how its impact can change the way people view their lives, specifically their lived experiences and beliefs on society. So I formulated 2 questions. The first question is for Direct Chop. My first question is, why is oral history not considered as part of history when it is in fact helpful to trace back to our roots and traditions as Filipinos?
Actually, si Mr. Paco nagsabi na no document, no history. Although, question ko rin yun actually, yung oral history ba is value?
Okay. Sige, sagutin natin dahil history yan. Ganito, oral history, magkaiba yan sa oral history at oral tradition. Oral history is when you interview, for example, Ninja Siana about her leadership in the CNA, and then you write, and then you commit it to writing, and then it becomes part of history. That's why it's called the oral history, because it was spoken to you. It was not a document or a letter or what. Oral tradition is different. Because they are the stories that people pass from one generation to another. So for example, ano ba yung mga kwento? Halimbawa, yung alamat ng pinya. Di ba, tinutukuhan mo yung, bakit tayo may mga ganitong storya? Because sometimes, we tell stories that are make-believe to get to the truth. Sabi nga ni Manolo Quezon, getting to the truth through make-believe. Halimbawa, yung, ano tawag dito? Ano mo yung laging ginagawa ng nanay ko sa akin ng bata ko? Sinasabi niya sa akin, kukutuhan na kita. Bakit? Kasi pagka hindi daw ako nagpakuto, yung mga kuto daw, kukunin daw ako. At dadalhin ako, ililipad daw ako ng mga kuto ko sa kakayahan ng mga kuto. No? Tapos hindi na daw ako makakabalik sa nanay ko. O hindi makakakuto. So, now, you see, it's really bullshit story, right? Binullshit ako ng nanay ko. But it gave me a sense, it taught me a lesson na dapat lilinisin ko yung hair ko. Di ba? Parang hindi ako magkaroon ng mga history ng mga ano dyan, ng mga insekto dyan. So I think, siguro, bakit hindi siya part ng history? Hindi, that's not, it's it. Sabi ni, di ba, define naman ni Apple there. There's classical history, but there's also cultural history. And ako, as a historian, nasa pagtayong pananaw ako ni Seo Salazar, mas nandun ako sa cultural history. Bahagi ng analysis ang oral tradition. So halimbawa, yung mga malakas at maganda, huwag na malakas at maganda kasi manufactured yun. Yung si Kalak at si Kabay, sabay ang babae at lalaki. You know that it's a bullshit story, right? It's not scientifically proven. But if you look at why they told this story over and over again, it is because the truth about them is that naniniwala sila na pantay ang babae at lalaki, kaya sabay silang lumabas. So, I hope you're getting the nuance there.
Yes,
Right, please.
Kasi as you get older, kaya nga maganda nakikinig sa mga historians. If you say oral history is as valid as documentation or archaeological evidence. Even as supposedly found document and archaeological evidence, even yun pwedeng fake. So, lahat yun, inputs lang. Parang intelligence gathering. So, titignan mo. Like for example, again, uuso ngayon na Philippines daw is ni Solomon kung ano man. May lumalabas niya sa internet, picture ng obviously antique dealer, may armor, na Greek armor na may kepo. Ang conclusion ng ganung it's evidence. Pero hindi lang iniisip, teka, antique dealer to so makabibili niya sa Greece. Diba? Tapos, they make so many claims based on sinabi nilang evidence without knowing the history of armor. Okay, yun yung isa. Susunod, yung kay Kalanchaw, tanong ako ng tanong doon sa mga tao doon, informal ka, okay, kung totoo yung oral history, discount mo na yung sobrang fantastic claim na kung paano niya nahanap. Kasi if you look at yung, let's say, sorry, tumatagal ako na. Let's say, for example, Dead Sea Scrolls, paano ba na nahanap? Simple lang, may nakita silang cave, nabasa, Dead Sea Scrolls. Compare mo yung kay Kalanchaw. Paano niya nahanap? Di ba yung Code of Kalanchaw? Doon sa ang tanong lang, meron bang oral history before linabas ni Marco?
Wala.
Yung story na yan? Wala.
Wala.
Hindi katulad ng pupunta ka, let's say, sa Mountain Province, tanongin mo yung Kangkanay, tanongin mo yung oral history lang meron. So, treat it as an evidence, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's true.
Yeah. Malinaw ka lang na it is what it is. Kung isa siyang oral tradition, you say, from the oral tradition of the world, this is reflected. So, mas gawin precision no the way you identify the sources. Okay, isa na lang po, I'm sorry, kinunan mo ng picture kasi ang ganda, ang haba ng pila, which means that you're so interested. Palakpakan nyo naman ang sarili nyo. But unfortunately, maybe you can leave the director later if you want to ask other questions. Siguro isa na lang. Thank you po, thank you ma'am. The last question, please. Thank you so much.
I wanted to ask lang po about yung nagiging process or experience mo interviewing the locals of Aklan. Kasi as seen po in the documentary, they really believe in Kalanchaw. Like, he means a lot to them po talaga. So, given the topic po of your documentary, how you kind of were very forward with what your goal was with this, how were you able to get them to open up to you and actually participate?
Oh, this is actually a methodological question, no? How did you make them trust you? Na kahit na critical kayo, hindi nyo sila ilalagay.
Actually, nung pagdating namin sa Batang Aklan, una namin ginawa, pinakain muna namin sila.
Totoo yan. Classic.
Siyempre, hindi ka na pwede pumunta ron na diretso or tag-interview sila. So, pinakain namin sila, kwentuhan muna kami, gano'n, getting to know each other. Pero, hindi pa kami prepare yun, bigla nagsalita namin si Joanne. If you recall that, yung
nakamas
siya. That was the time na nag-lunch siya. Bigla na lang siya nag-kwento. Pakapag-ready na. Wala kang camera.
I-shot mo na yan, no?
So, hindi pa niya alam yun. Medyo focus na yun. So, hindi pa niya alam na nag-record siya. So, yun, the thing is, you have to get your trust muna by, well, in our case, no? Then we have to let them know talagang intention namin. Sinabi rin naman namin, this is a documentary. We already interviewed a historian. We also want to get your side.
So, classic yun, no? Yung, because for me, sinuturo ng psikolohiya Pilipino na kailangan, pagka ikaw ay gusto mong magbukas ng loob ng isang tao sa'yo, kailangan magbukas ka rin ng loob. At tanda natin na research, ako gusto ko talagang i-push na natin ito, no? Na ang paggawa at pagsasaliksik ng kasaysayan, na kahit anong pananaliksik, ay gawain ng pakikipagkapwa-tao. Ginagawa mo ito para makipagkapwa-tao, hindi para maluwitan. At yun din yung ginawa ng inyong pelikula. No? So siguro, maraming salamat po sa inyo, sa inyong lahat at sa ating mga bisita ngayong araw na ito. Mabuhay at mula sa salamat.
panelists. To express our appreciation, we now invite Dr. Jasmine Lana, Chairperson of the DLSU Committee on National Issues and Concerns, to join us on stage for the awarding of certificates of appreciation. First, the Certificate of Appreciation is awarded to Dr. Michael Charleston Shao Chua for graciously sharing his talent and expertise as a talkback facilitator during the screening of Ghosts of Kalanchao held on September 18, 2024 at the Teresa Yuchenko Auditorium, De La Salle University, Manila. Signed by Ms. Francine De Vera, Vice President for La Salle Mission, and Dr. Jasmine Llana, Chairperson for the DLSU Committee on National Issues and Concerns.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Isa pa? 1, 2, 3. Okay.
Next, the Certificate of Appreciation is awarded to Mr. Chuck Escasa, Mr. Henry Posadas, and Mr. Chuck Gutierrez, as well as Levi Uy and Amy Escasa, for graciously sharing their time and expertise as a resource speaker during the screening of Ghosts of Kalanchao, held on September 18, 2024 at the Teresa Yuchenko Auditorium, De La Salle University, Manila. Let us all give them a warm round of applause.
One, two, three. Okay, last. Yes.
At this point, we would like to invite again our friends from Dakila for their call to action. We need more people to speak out online and on ground against the current historical distortion. If you are interested in watching more films or events about martial law, human rights, and historical disinformation, fake news, we would like to invite you to the 12th Activista Human Rights Festival, entitled Speculation. We are starting tomorrow, and it will be until October 6. The schedule of films and events will be available at our Facebook account, Activista in Dakila. Please collaborate with us, Dakila and Activista, if you have any ideas on how we can work together in our efforts to reclaim the narratives of the Filipino people and promote human rights and democracy. You can send us your ideas at info@dakila.org.ph. You can also organize your own screenings of films that we offer by sending us a request at screenings@activista.ph. Read, listen, document, share materials of stories of our people who have experienced martial law, especially those in the region whose stories are being erased by those who insist that the atrocities only happen in Manila. Join and volunteer for Dakila and other organizations that's combating historical distortion and surface the truth. Maraming salamat po. And that concludes our screening of Ghosts of Kalanchao. We hope the film has given you meaningful insights into our nation's history and the importance of truth in shaping our future. Before you leave, please scan the QR code displayed on the screen to fill out the evaluation form and certify your attendance. For the 2:30 p.m. screening, use this link or QR code. Thank you again, and may we continue to uphold truth and justice for a better tomorrow. Animo Lasal, Animo Pilipinas.